Massive update for the XRP community as we've got a brand new S&P 500 and XRP ETF filing under the new ticker symbol XXX. And during today's episode, we're going to show our listeners the first United States filing to directly tie XRP to the S&P 500 index. We're also going to cover some of the inflows that we're anticipating from these ETFs later on in the year. With Ethereum giving a 5% ratio, XRP is on pace to do over $10 billion worth of inflows after these products are approved in late 2025. If you're excited, be sure to stick around for the entire episode as we're going to show our listeners how this impacts the XRP price and why this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Good Evening Crypto, your favorite crypto news related channel. If you enjoy this content, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe as you're going to get an update every single day. 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to start off today's episode breaking down the details of this new S&P 500 product. This is the first ever United States filing that is directly tying XRP to the S&P 500 index. Now, although this is a smaller company here in Cyber Hornet and One Fund Trust, we are going to see many of these products hit the American markets after the clarity is packed inside the United States. Now, what's beneficial for American investors right now is that if this product is not denied in the next 75 days, this will be live trading on the New York Stock Exchange by December 10th, 2025. So we will not have to wait very long to see whether this product is trading live. But how is this product actually going to work here inside the United States? This is a brand new type of creative ETF that is blending TradFi with the spot crypto market. This new product is going to consist of 75% exposure to the S&P with 25% direct exposure to Ethereum, Solana, or XRP. And this is predominantly an XRP product as that was the largest portion of this filing. Now, the file is under the generic listing standards, but it's important to note that this is a hybrid product holding 25% spot XRP and 75% S&P 500. Now, there's three things that make this filing extremely unique, not only for the American markets, but for XRP investors all around the world. Number one, this is the first time XRP shows up inside a US ETF filing tied directly to the S&P 500. And what are some of the benefits of that? It's reducing risk. It's giving a steady return. It's giving you exposure to real world businesses where you can track revenue and estimate what are these companies worth and where are they headed over these next couple of years. Now, the second component, hybrid construction, which means blue chip equities plus spot crypto inside of one simple product. That's a TradFi cheat code. So you get the simplicity of traditional investments with the exposure of a product like XRP, which like we saw last November can do 400% in only 25 days, depending on the momentum of the market. And the third and final point here, the amendment is not a new trust. It's slotting these funds into an existing structure. This means it's a faster path to a smoother approval inside the United States. So because this is an existing product, if the SEC doesn't deny these amendments, we are going to see the XRP and S&P 500 index trading live on the New York Stock Exchange starting December 10th, 2025. If that gets you excited, guys, smash that like button. If you believe this product will be denied, leave a comment underneath the video. But Dominic, what are some of your thoughts here?
It's funny. A lot of these ETF products, like people like you and me who have ledgers and buy off of the exchanges, we say like, that's great. It opens it up to a lot of different new clientele, new people that aren't as comfortable with the crypto platforms and prefer to operate on the more traditional exchanges. But I mean, this is something that I would want to do myself, right? I mean, they say with stocks, what are the best things to do with stocks? Buy the S&P and hold it. What are the best things to do with crypto, right? Buy and hold the core assets. So this combines both into one strategy. You buy one product and it takes a lot of the headache out for the retail investors. So I think it's a great product. And look, I mean, that's something I would even start to incorporate into my own stock portfolio.
And I think there's going to be millionaires all across the country who begin to look at the crypto asset class and say, I need exposure to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, and maybe to some of these more speculative assets like a Solana, a Cardano, and even an XRP in some situations. Now, what's important to note, guys, is that for the first time ever in America, we are beginning to see crypto ETFs go live. And earlier this week, we got a major announcement out of the company Hashdex, which said they are delighted to announce that the NASDAQ Crypto Index US ETF product is expanding to bring access to XRP, Solana, and XLM. So it's very important to note, in the next month or so, We're going to have products offering XRP on the NASDAQ. We're going to have products offering XRP on the New York Stock Exchange. And in the background, there is still 19 different XRP ETFs sitting at the SEC and waiting for approval today. And I've outlined this several times for the Good Evening Crypto community. When all of these different companies have their separate XRP spot offerings, you're going to see inflows of upwards of $50, $100 million for each individual offering on any day. That means that Wisdom Tree could see 50 million, Canary Capital could see 25 million, Grayscale could see 50 million, Franklin Templeton could see 200 million, and you're looking at over $400 million worth of inflows in a single day. When these products are turned on, they will not be turned off in the American markets. And one of our friends gave us a great insight into how large these inflows could be. So when we watched Ethereum spot product get approved in 2024, over the next 12 months, we watched these ETF issuers accumulate $26 billion worth of Ethereum, which equated to about 5% of the total market cap. Now, if XRP sees something similar after the ETF approval here in October, we could be looking at nearly $8.8 billion worth of inflows for the XRP spot product just inside the US. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure this out. Same supply, more demand equals an increase in price. And I feel like we're heading into this big inflection point here where all of these assets are going to have these major catalysts. There's 92 different crypto ETFs at the SEC right now. We're focused on XRP, but there's product for Solana. There's product for Cardano. There's products for Chainlink. There's even products for companies and blockchains like Litecoin and Polkadot. So there's going to be a massive influx of capital that really kicks off here towards the back end of 2025. And I think Bloomberg analyst James Seifert does a great job of highlighting how products like XRP are going to have a strategic advantage as this market gets kicked off here towards the back end of the year. Here it is.
But ironically enough, there's also leverage futures XRP and XRP products. They actually launched after the Solana products and had even more interest. So there's a lot of interest there. Is it going to be the level of interest that the Bitcoin ETF launch had? Absolutely not. Like anyone who thinks like, oh, Bitcoin ETFs took in 40 billion, my XRP ETF is going to take in the same amount or whatever. That's just not how this is going to work. These are longer tail assets. I think there will be demand. There will probably be multiple products for each of these assets to do well. Maybe not all 10 of the ones I listed, but a decent amount of them. Is there going to be enough to have like 11 different products that are going to be successful and garner a ton of assets? Probably not. It's not the same as a Bitcoin ETF, not even Ethereum necessarily.
Here's the thing to keep in mind, right? I don't think we're predicting that we're going to see $40 billion worth of inflows come into XRP. I just gave you the analysis. If we even see 5% of the total market cap, which would be give or take $9 or $10 billion, that is going to impact the price dramatically. And we saw ETF issuers for Bitcoin begin accumulating the asset 12 months prior to launch. What does that mean? Many of the companies that I just outlined, Franklin Templeton, Grayscale, Wisdom Tree, Canary Capital, they've most likely already gone out and accumulated the asset in order to back the spot ETF shares that they're going to begin offering in October. And we've done the data and analytics on this program several times, guys. My belief is Coinbase Prime is being utilized. If you're enjoying this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave some thoughts underneath the video. I'd love to hear if you guys think we are going to see an influx in price once these ETFs are approved. But Dominic, what are some of your thoughts?
Look, I think we're coming into some really bullish momentum, right? Just generally speaking. And if you look at history, and we've talked about this, what are the most bullish months historically? October, right, has been bullish for the past over 10 years, 12 years, every single time except for 2 months. And then in November, you have the highest average gain on average for the past 12 years. So in September is traditionally one of the more bearish months. We've been following that timeline almost to a T. And with all this news on the horizon, with the fear and greed index sort of at a neutral level, we have a lot of room to grow. Whereas if in September, fear and greed index was at greed, like maximized on greed, it'd be harder to get that additional room for growth that hopefully we see in the next couple of months.
I completely agree. And this is something I've outlined both on the Good Evening and Good Morning Crypto channel. Historically, September is one of, if not the most bearish month for digital assets. But what's exciting about that is it's followed up by 3 of the 5 most bullish months. October is number 1. November is number 2, and December is number 5 when it comes to the most bullish months for all of crypto. And when we think about where this market is headed over these next 3 to 6 months, these numbers are what's most important for the newer investors to understand. I'm seeing some of these long-term investors beginning to take profit, and there's nothing wrong with that. but there's a certain amount of fear that comes with a new investor who's looking at a veteran begin to capitulate inside the crypto market. I would advise all of our listeners to take a long-term approach when entering the crypto space. Don't have unrealistic goals that you're going to make $1 million on a $10,000 portfolio. Instead, buy these assets, hold for 5 or 10 years, and be willing to wait a long time in order to be proven correct. Now, addressing some of the short-term price action that we're witnessing in 2025, October is historically the most bullish month. 83% of the time, meaning 10 of the last 12 years, October has given an average return of about 29%. November is the second most bullish month with 75% odds of being green, meaning 9 of the last 12 years, November has been bullish. And what's even more exciting about that, November has some of the highest returns, giving us an average of 36% during that month. Now, that is followed up by December with 70% odds of being bullish, 10 to 20% gains historically. And what I think is so valuable about this, guys, is doing the mental math. Let's say Bitcoin's 110,000 and we get 29% in October. That takes us to 145. If we compound to get another 36% in November, we're looking at $198,000 Bitcoin. If we do another 10 to 20% on top of that, you're talking nearly $220,000 in value. Now, do I believe we're going to get there? I think the odds are against us. And quite frankly, as an altcoin investor, I don't think it's necessary for many of our projects to do what we want them to do. But I do think if Bitcoin does extend itself well above 180 and reach some of these dramatically higher price targets, that is only going to benefit the XRP, the Solana, the Cardano community, whatever altcoin you may be interested in. And it's more clear than ever, guys, that this market is evolving before our very eyes. With these ETFs, the Clarity Act, the establishment of stablecoin regulation, this market is only going to expand during the entire Trump administration, and that journey is just getting started here in 2025. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all in the next one.